What's up, freaks, and welcome back to episode 37 of The Good, the Bad, and the Freaky. Ian and I are here in the Freakopolis Geekery comic book section. We got a bunch of awesome stuff to talk about.
Yeah, this week we're talking our time at the Star Trek original series set tour, a bunch of awesome comic books, and much more.
So stick around after the jump to see our thoughts on this week's Nerd News. So this week, Ian and I will be sharing our good since we spent our 4th of July up in Ticonderoga, New York, visiting the Star Trek original series set tour.
Which was so awesome.
It was pretty incredible. We've known the people for quite some time now. They're regulars of the shop, and they keep trying to get us up there, and we finally had a Tuesday off, and spent the day touring the original set.
And I couldn't imagine a better way to spend the day because it really blew me away. Every set and little set piece is made with a lot of meticulous thought.
Yeah, they've really thought about every single piece in that whole huge set. So what they've done up there is recreate the whole interior of the USS Enterprise from the original Star Trek series to the very finest detail.
Yeah.
And they've done an outstanding job. They have the med bay, the rec room, Kirk's quarters, engineering, and of course, the bridge, which was super incredible.
It really was. The amount of dedication they've put into every little detail is definitely noticeable. And I really love the classic curved hallway that they use, and the explanations they gave as to the real kind of television tricks they used in the original series to make it seem like a different hallway every time.
Yeah, it was amazing standing in that hallway and feeling like, you're surrounded by the Enterprise
Yeah.
at that point, basically. But personally, I think my favorite location was probably engineering.
Very true.
Just the lighting in there, the effect of this is where, the warp drive is and where all the power for the ship comes from and stuff. And they've just done an outstanding job of recreating that and, putting in these optical illusions and cool lighting and cool props and stuff.
Yeah, they'll send the ship into red alert for you.
And if you guys go and visit that yourself this summer or on the weekends afterwards, you can come to the Freakopolis Geekery and get 15% off any Star Trek stuff. So make it a big trip. Stop up there, see the sets, come down here, get some Star Trek comics or Star Trek Attack Wing or something. And it would be a really cool day trip. So thank you to those guys up there in Ticonderoga. We had a blast.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll move on to our bads. Unfortunately, I actually don't have a bad. It was a good holiday week for me. I, can't complain about too much.
No, yeah, we definitely had a lot of fun, but I just found out that, sadly, Futurama has pretty much ended its time on Netflix with seasons 1 through 6 suddenly disappearing. And, of course, Futurama has a big internet following, and they are kind of outraged at the moment and wondering why Netflix would drop such a classic animated series.
That is a bummer. The creators went on to Reddit the other day and did an AMA that was rich and full of awesome answers and a ton of humor and stuff, but I think that was kind of a final send-off since now Futurama is going to be really hard to access for the majority of people.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a big push to bring it back in the near future, and if you haven't watched Futurama yet, I would recommend it 10 out of 10, because the writing and the thought put into that show is totally awesome.
Yeah, what, more PhDs on that show than any other?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a fan of sci-fi or just creative science and stuff, you'll notice so much in that show that makes you want to keep watching.
Yeah, I can't wait till we can tour the Planet Express.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so that is a bummer. A little harder to watch Futurama now. If you have the DVD sets, I guess, you're not missing out on anything.
Yep.
Yeah. But for us Netflixers, kind of a bummer.
It is.
So move on to our freakies. We both have some pretty cool new indie comics. Let's start off with mine. I have here Unholy Grail #1, published by Aftershock Comics, who's been doing some amazing work lately.
Oh, yeah.
I should say. And written by Cullen Bunn, who I can't believe how many books this guy's putting out. He's got 12 titles.
Yeah.
But the sort of overarching plot is this is another look at the King Arthur, Excalibur, Merlin mythology, but with a very grim, dark, almost Lovecraftian twist.
Interesting. I noticed that it had, that very Arthurian classic tale kind of look to it with kind of old English-esque stuff, but Yeah, no, what kind of twist exactly? Is it like more dangerous than those tales seem?
Definitely more dangerous. There's a good amount of gore in here, so
Ooh.
for those of you with queasy stomachs, maybe skip out on this one. But the big twist, which you find out early on, so it's not too much of a spoiler, and of course this is only issue number 1. But the big twist is that Merlin is basically a demon.
Ooh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so he's got some very not great ploys at play.
Yeah.
He's sort of leading Arthur in maybe a path that's a little darker than the conventional mythology.
Hence the unholy grail.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But it was really good. I'm loving the stuff Aftershock's putting out. Cullen Bunn always writes something really creepy and makes your skin crawl.
Mhm.
And definitely looking forward to issue number 2.
So my freaky this week is another kind of gory, but on the flip side, very comedic book, Ash vs. Evil Dead #1, which follows, of course, Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead the movie, but now he's going by Mr. Williams instead of Ash because he has found himself in the position of a substitute teacher at his high school. And it picks up pretty much right after where the movie ends. And so the Necronomicon has caused quite a bit of a demon incursion in his normal Earth.
So the Army of Darkness finds him substitute teaching,
Yep.
basically.
He's actually tied in with like some government agencies and whatnot that have been keeping watch on the paranormal. It seems like quite a spin on what you would expect from Ash vs. Evil Dead, but it's still got that comedy and action you're looking for.
Nice, yeah, and so that's by Dynamite.
Yep.
And there was an issue 0 previously, but not necessary to read number 1.
No, you can pick it right up and go right into it, and yeah, jump into the action with some classic Ash.
Nice, yeah, I'd love to see more Army of Darkness come out, especially in the comics where they can do even crazier things than they do in the movies.
Oh yeah, you'll find it in here.
Cool. And that will do it for this week's The Good, the Bad, and the Freaky. Thank you guys so much. If you could, or you feel like it, like, share, subscribe, comment, any of the above. Helps us keeping you guys in the know about comics, games, movies, or better yet, stop into the Freakopolis Geekery in Whitehall, New York, and pay us a visit and talk about comics or games or movies, any of the above. Thank you guys.
Thanks very much.